traders, welcome to the daily webinar. This is part 2 of it. The first part is with the Forex pairs. If you haven't seen that and you're seeing this for the first time, go watch that one. And let's go. I'll start. This one is with the indexes or the indices, whichever way you want to pronounce it. Then we have some stocks on. We will change this. This is a group of that we were going to do today, but we will change that to the most popular groups that are, popular stocks you want. We can add more stocks, at least 10 more stocks to this, or change them. So we're going to have 15 stocks, maybe 5 indexes, and you guys can decide what that should be. We did a poll in our group, and these were the cryptos, top 15 cryptos that were chosen by our group. I'm willing to add 5 more there, and that 5 could come from the general public. So this is how you're going to do it. On YouTube, under this video, you will make a comment, and in each comment, you put 1. Right? So don't put 3, 4 that you want. Make sure each comment, you only put 1 that you like. So you can put 5 if you want. You can put 6. That is 6 different comments you'll make. And those who support that one will go and click a like on it. So the 5 comments with the most like on them will be the ones I will add, right? Make sure you choose those that are not on this list. So we're willing to add 5 more, but it has to be on that. And once a week, you're going to have very detailed analysis in those. Right, so 5 of them with the most likes and then we'll go on. If there's only 1 or 2 likes, we'll just assume that only 2 people trade it and that's it. So it has to have quite a lot of likes in it on the comment itself. So we will know those are the ones you want. Do not put 2 on the same comment because then it will not be chosen. It has to be 1 in each comment. Let's go. Let's start. So I'm going to start with the oil. Oil, we are in the buy. It's still going up. You can still buy. This is where you stop buying now. If you're buying, and my traders were buying to the upside, this is where you wouldn't buy. This is the last consolidation here to break the top. Now, I would not, normally we don't buy into the last one because they can break the top and reverse. It can break the top and go more, but let the consolidation be above the top and then we continue to buy. So buying in a consolidation exactly at the top is a bad idea, but breaking the top, making consolidation, we will continue to buy. We're assuming that this will come back down once more because I'm looking more of a pattern like this. This has a flat here. I don't think this is all the consolidation. This is making a new high. Even if it's making a new high, we have a lot of divergence. So there's a good chance you make a new high, break and drop. There's also a good chance you make a new high. You just come back down here for running flat and then go. So it's either a running flat or it's a total drop. Whichever you wanted to break the top, then make a correction, then get back into the buy. So those were 3 buys that we had. If you take any of those 3 buys, they're good for you. I'm not talking about the earlier one, at least that's for last week. US oil would be exactly the same thing. The buys are not here because they're the same buy setup as in that one. And natural gas. Natural gas is actually in a big sideways move. It looks downside right now. I think you'd allow this to consolidate some more and then look for a drop. We'll see whether it breaks the low or not, because if this goes back higher to the top here, then what we would have here is a flat for more upside. And that is a possibility. If it makes a flat, we'll get into bigger buys. Right now, it's not much. It just has one move down and a consolidating. So we wait. US 30. Okay, we broke down. We dropped here. We made a bigger flat. This was a sell on Friday. If you sold that, you close the trade. Let's see if we broke the low. That is very, very important. We did. So by breaking the low, they can literally end that move there and go back up or make a much bigger correction. We were assuming that this would be a running flat. Can we assume that this is the running flat? Still possible, right? A running flat with one way of having a 3-wave structure and you go back up there. That possibility exists. So let's look at that possibility. Right now, I don't think we're going up. Right, it kind of pulled back, but this flat is already telling me, this correction here is telling me there's a good chance that they will come here deeper. And if it does, we'll get a flat there. And if we get a flat there, we're going to drop. So if we end up with a flat there, we're looking for a sell setup. If they're going to go up, this thing needs to stay here, actually go back up some more, come back here and then go. If we get a flag. So I don't think we're going to get a flag. So right now, the sell is more likely, but it's not ready. All right, we're looking for a sell, but we don't have the sell set up as yet. Okay, same here. And this one didn't break the low. Unlike the US 30 that broke the low, which means that this is still a 3-wave structure. It could go back, become a more complex pattern, but it's a 3-wave structure for now. This one, they didn't break the low. So we can literally be making a bigger correction here, right? In this piece, this can go back up there, pull back here, go there, make a flat somewhere in here, and go make a new high. You'd still be in this one. You'll still be in that sideways move. That would not surprise me because we were expecting this to go up, make this the flat, and then 1, 2, 3, right? Well, let's see. Can it drop more from this point? We don't have a sell setup, right? Same here. You've got some consolidation, but you're getting a small flag here, which means this would be within this move. Come back here, you have to go back up, and then we'll get a flat for a sell. As of now, you don't have a buy or a sell setup. It's very short term if you're going for the sell. You have to manage that really, really close. NASDAQ, pretty much big picture. All the big pictures are the same thing. We didn't break the low. I would, if I'm looking for a buy setup, this would be the best one to buy going back up because of this consolidation. The buy setup here is a bigger advantage. The sell on the other two are more advantageous. You can get a better risk to reward in the sell in the other one because the patterns are more downside. We don't have the buy, but if we get a flag here, that means we're making a flat here before we go up. You can start buying it. Take the first piece, get it to break even. If they make a running flat, it's going to come here, and then go. Right? We'll get this. If it's not a running flat, you'll get break even in this trade, come back here, and then we get the buy again. So I don't think we'll get any trade on these today because the setups are not great. If you're going to get any trade, it has to be in the 15 minutes. There's no 1 hour setup, right? So it's going to be most in the 15 minutes. If you're trading, that's these little flags inside of the smaller range. PayPal, nothing. It's going sideways. We broke the low. If you get a flag here, then you sell. If it makes a flag here, then you sell. Can it be a reversal from this point? Well, we don't have it as yet. DAX, mostly upside. It's consolidating, but nothing so far. We had this flat here, we dropped. You can see this kind of, it looks like an expanding flat in here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this actually goes back up with this whole thing being a big correction, right? Kind of a 1, 2, 3. And if we get a flag here, then we look for another move to the top here. Something like this, maybe. So no sell setup, that's for sure. We don't have any sell setup, not as yet. Nifty, still upside. You still have to break the top, so there's more upside here. Buy any flag you get. Any consolidation, any flag, it's a buy setup. This is the same thing, the German DAX. This is 40, this is 30. I'm sorry, we did that already. Amazon, just going sideways, but look for upside. It's going sideways, but because we're at the lows, you're always at the low, you're looking for an upside now, right? So let's see if we get the upside. And a sideways move that's going up, we look for a buy setup here. We really don't have a buy setup as yet, but if you get a flag anywhere in this piece going up here, if you get a flag here, or you get a flag above the top, it's a buy back to the top. Tesla, also sideways, and nothing there. If this gives you a flag here, we go for the sell. All right, we go for the sell to retest the low. It's not going to be a buy setup very soon. If it's going to make a flat for a buy, that's not so quick. That will take much longer. Selling this flag would be an easier structure that this is going to drop. And the last one is copper. Copper also is in a big sideways move. No sense of direction here because you have one down, you have one up, and this is in the middle of both of those. Most likely downside. That's the most likely pattern that could form right now. Can it work its way up? Well, yes, if it keeps doing this, there's no buy setup there. But if it makes a flat here for a drop, then yes, that sell makes sense. So let's see if we have anything there. Go into 1 hour. It's consolidating, but you really don't have this. Well, you can make an argument for a running flat here. You can make an argument for a running flat there for the drop. So if you do get a drop under this low, that should drop through the pattern, drop through this low, and then continue to go down. Bitcoin. Okay, if you sold that, you close it. You close it somewhere in here, you close it here, you close it somewhere in here. It's going sideways. And that sideways could probably be both sides, right now, right? If you take this off, the sideways could be both sides, because right now you're looking at this one, right? You're looking at this, and that is upside, but that is within this move. So that is upside. So you have one, you get a correction, you go back there, you'll have to come back here and then go. This would be the flat. So if we get a flat like this, that's a perfect buy setup. Can we buy this one for a running flat, which means this work its way up, then come back and then go? Yes, that makes sense. So if you're buying for a running flat possibility, good, but you have to manage the trade if it becomes a regular flat, right? If it doesn't break out as a regular, what are the chances of this dropping? Possible, but a little unlikely, because the consolidation is here. So we don't have a sell setup. If it's dropping, there is no sell setup. What you're getting is a consolidation like this, in a 1, 2, 3, in a 1, 2, 3, and an up move here. So this should go up there, probably in a 1, 2, 3, come back here, and then go. That is if you're going to get a regular flat. Could be a running flat. So the buy is worth it. Look for a buy setup. It's not there as yet, but you will get one eventually. Right. ETH, pretty much the same thing. You broke here, didn't go. That was Friday. You should have closed the trade basically if you got tagged there, because it went sideways. It's still a close because it still looks upside. So we would take this flat here, we'll put this here. This was the first move up. There was a buy here, there was a buy there. And now you're going sideways. This has to come down back here, or probably go back up there and then come back here and then go. So some more sideways in here before you actually get the buy setup. It's not a sell. We don't have a sell setup there. And XRP. You made that big move up there and they're consolidating at the top. So we would assume that this here is some kind of a consolidation. If we think this is the bigger one, then this should drop, right? It's not dropping as yet, so we'll have to wait and see. It's also not going up because we've got this move down, we got that move up, and we're getting this down here. We're back at the low. So if this goes back up there, there's still a chance for a downside. Okay? This is not a buy setup. Not as yet and not there. So XRP might be the only one that could still go down some more, right? We're not anticipating that downside, but it's possible. If we get a buy setup from here, which means a break of the top, or a flag inside here for the buy, then we can go with that by assuming that they're going to come here without coming back to the low. So it will be this one up, right? So both sides are possible right now. We just don't have the clear setup for any side. The most likely one you can get now is the buy setup. That is this piece. That's the most likely one. If it comes here and make a flag, you can go with this flag to break the top. You'll have 1, 2, 3. Put it to break even and let's see if it goes through. Right? If it goes through, good. Actually, what if they pull back here? We'll expect this down and then we'll still look for a buy because you're still on the top half of this move. So the upside looks most possible, but we don't have setups for that as yet. By the way, if you're watching all my videos and you like them, please share them. This week it will be an entire week of free video out on YouTube. For my traders, I would like if you can go and help share those videos as well, spread it as much as possible. More people have access to see it. ADA, that this went up, but we don't have, after the break of this, it went up. This wasn't a really good buy. This was a sharp move and it went up slowly. This was a buy here above this top with a flag. That was the buy. Wait for another one like that. This is a big sideways move here. We did break the low. So if you put this as a flat, this could be the low of the movement and it's going up. Now, any correction is a buy. Any correction, any flag you get there would be a buy setup. And that would definitely bring you back to above this top, right? Because we could look at this as the flat. There's a correction in this one, see? A 1, 2, 3 up there. If that is the flat, this is coming back here. It could also be you make a bigger flat here and then you come back down here before you go. But it's upside, so this one potentially could go very far. This one potentially, once you break out of this structure completely, the potential for this to go up is pretty huge. And it's about to break out of that structure. So any correction once you break, right? Any correction in there in the 4 hour, the 1 hour would be a buy setup. This would be the low. You want a good correction. And as a matter of fact, if they pull back like this, right? I would look at this as a running flat for upside. So if we pull back like this, you can put an entry above the top for the takeoff. If it consolidate, we'll remove that entry and look for downside. So wait for the pullback or wait for a flag and then get in the trade. This one, we're looking for a sell. You got in the sell. It's breaking this. And it's not going very far, but the sell wasn't here. The sell was actually on this one when we were breaking this low, right? This low here. So if you broke that low, you took the sell, give it 3 hours. It's still early. And if it doesn't drop here, but with a big flat like this and this, you could probably come here, go back up there, right? Like a 1, 2, 3, and go back, make a new high. So keep an eye on it. If it doesn't go within the next hour or so, close trade, because then this could be more of a flat pattern at the top here. Right, this could be more of a flat for downside. This is the big correction. So you give it an hour, it doesn't go, take it off. We wait and we wait for the next setup. It goes back up, you put it under the low. You don't need that. We put it under the top here for a buy. Right, sorry, we put it on top of this last impulse, right, for the buy. So it stays here for 3 hours, take it off. Okay, this is a new one we add on. We kind of looked at it in our trading room and it looks good. You're going up very slow and we potentially have some sharp moves down here. So I think we will get a downside on this after we break the top again. This one is going up in an uptrend coming to these stops. So if you get a pullback here, that is upside. This would be a flat, right? So you want it to pull back there and then go up. Let's see if we have it on the 1 hour. Yep, I would let it pull back first. You've got this move down, you've got this move up, let it come back to this level, make a flat, and then you're looking for this move up. Link. Same here, we're kind of, this is definitely a corrective move up, right? So this would have to definitely come back down. It's a correction upwards, like this one here, right? Slowly, slowly going like that. You would end up with this 1, 2, 3. And we will get this as a 1, 2, probably a 3. So this would go up some more. I think this would probably go up some more. Work its way up like this, and then we'll get a drop because this would be the big picture. Probably be in this whole big thing here, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we'll have to come back down for this and go back up for that one. Come back here, go back there, and then drop. So we're going to be going sideways for the next couple months. Look for buy setups here and then look for sell setups. Every time it comes to the top, you look for the sell setups. So I'll put the first impulse. I'll put the range of the first impulse, right? So the first impulse up would be this range in that corrective structure because the bigger impulse is to the downside. That's the first sharp move up. That's the top. This is the bottom, right? And we're inside of it. I would assume that because this is the way it is, I will go with an expanding flat here for this one. Right, so that means we have 1, we have 2, we're going for 3. We're going up similar to that for this one, right? After which we'll have to come back down and go back up. So if we're right about this pattern, this is how I expect it to play out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the patterns that we're looking at right now. And remember, this is forecasting. This is assuming that this is the possibility that could develop based on what you have, right? What we have is telling us that this is what could happen. So I would say look for buy setups that come back to the top here. Once you get into the top of this here, expect it to drop again, come back down for this one. And then one more move up. After which you have a big impulse to the downside, which means this will go down. But there's a lot of up and down here, right? So do we have a buy setup on the 1 hour? Not exactly, but the way this is going, you'll have to wait for that because I don't see a buy setup here right now. A breaking of the top of this is a possible running flat. No, I don't see it. I actually see this on the shorter term coming down back to about this level and then go. I think that's a more likely bad possibility. Can we look at this as a flat of its own here? If that's the case, then this piece would have to be some kind of a flat for upside. It's not looking that way. This move here is sharp inside. So I would wait for a buy setup, ignore the sell and wait for it to drop some more and then look for the buy setup. This is a new one. My trader selected this, so we'll see what this is all I have for it. I hope I'm choosing the right chart for you guys. I could see the possibility of a running flat in here, clearly. So you've got this move up. I don't know where if this is the low, then you've got this, you've got that, you've got this, you've got this, and you're in this one. So here probably consolidation is going on. That is the most, yes, that's the most likely possibility. We're consolidating there. It's upside. Literally, you're getting a buy setup here. We do have a sharp one here and a sharp one here. So unless we look at these two as running flat, right? If we do that, then this up move is very good. If not, then you're actually in a bigger flat here. That is this piece. 1, 1, 2, 3. Come back here, go. Right? So this buy is a good idea, either for break even or for the go. It's worth taking it, and then we'll see where that goes. This is a new one for us. I think some traders on YouTube have been asking for this one for a while. My traders chose this as the top 15. Let's see what we have. I don't know if that is real, so I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to go with these pieces. An up move, a correction, an up move, a correction. You should have one more up move. Here is the question. Let me just take this off. Is this all for this up move? I don't think so. Look at this one. This one was perfect. You had a drop, you had a move up, you had another drop. So you could put this like this. Clear, right? You've got an up move, you've got a flat, and now you've got an up move. So this one, we had the first drop here. We got a pull back, we got a drop, we got a pull back. We're still in this. You actually had a deep one here. So I'm going to put this flat in the B part. So 1, 2, 3. I don't think it's over, but if it's over, then we're totally going up, right? If we look at this as all the correction. If you look at this here as all the correction, then we're totally going up. Wait for this to pull back. Make a flat here. And then look for a buy setup from there going. All right, so let's go into that in the 1 hour, 4 hours. The 4 hours, you're assuming that this was the sharp move down. You could take this one. You're getting a pullback. Wait for this to pull back here. Let this come back into this area here. You get a perfect flat pattern, and then you look for the buy setup from here, right? So on the 1 hour, what we have? Nothing. Nothing there. We're still in this big sideways move. And we would like it to come back down. If you get a downside, that would be a good one. So if you get a sell set up here for a short-term trade, so drop a little more, give you a flag here for a short-term sell, that'd be a good idea. You'll be looking at this for upside. Can we look at this as, I think this belongs to something in the past. Yep, you have one in the past. They're a sharp one, so you could look at those two as a running flat. You made a new high, we're coming down. Yep, that's likely how I'm gonna look at it. This was the low. So if that is all, if we're still in the sideways move, let's assume that is not all. Let's go over the option that this was a 1, 2, 3. Then this up move would have to be equivalent to this up move. If they don't look equal, this one is much bigger. So I would go with that as a C wave that went very slow. So more like a 1, 2, 3, and a C wave that went very slow down. So let's see if this pulls back, that would be a good buy setup. You can look for a buy if we go back up to the top there. Let it come here, and if this starts going back up, you can look for a buy setup from here actually going to break the top. It might be a little more complicated afterwards, but at least it's going to make a new high before it comes back down. That's the short term. What's the longer term picture? 4 hours. You're going sideways. So yes, I can see this one literally going back up to the top here to make a flat. If this stays here as a consolidation, go up there, come back, go up there, come back, then this will just drop here. But I don't think I think we're heading back to the top here for a flat. So you're going sideways within this impulse. You have a sharp wave. We don't have any sharp one. That's the only sharp move down. Right? We don't have any other sharp move down. So you had this big correction, pretty easy. 1, 2, 3. You've got a running flat here. And now we're making another 1, 2, 3 here. And that should go back up. That should continue up once it's finished, right? Can it come? How deep would this come? Well, I don't know. We'll see how deep it comes. Right now, short term is upside. So short term in the 1 hour, I'll be looking for an upside. I look for a buy into this piece. Come down a little more and then look for a buy setup. We have this sharp one here, but I believe that this sharp one here might be something in the future. So come here, go back there, make this up, come back for this down, and then go back up. A bit something like that. So the sell here is not a great idea. Wait for it to come a little more and then look for the buy. Okay, if you bought this, you want to close it. I think we're getting a running flat. I'll go to running flat and put an entry for above that for the upside because this up move was very slow. So that's more of a running flat. But what's the bigger picture? Yeah, it can go up from there. You can literally get a buy setup to go. This is very corrective coming down. I think you can see that. So the one more upside is very possible. The big picture would be downside, right? Because the big picture, we're in this one. In the big picture, this is your impulse. This is the top of the impulse. And this is the low of the impulse. So literally, we're still in there. I think this could go up if you get a running flat there. I think this could go back, make a new high, and then we'll come down here. This doesn't look like the impulse we're looking for. We're looking for something more like this. So this is more of a correction to go one more up and then to come back here and then continue up. Right? Because that would be the flat pattern we're looking for. So go back here in the 1 hour and look for the buy setup. Okay, this one is a bit easier because this has to go back there, come back here. This would be the flat. And that should be upside. Could we buy this one for this to go up? I don't think so. I think unless you're expecting a bigger running flat in the making. But we actually broke the low here. So I think this is just going to go up a little, come back down here, and then it's ready for the upside. But if you want to take it now and you can get out for break even. So let's say this gives you a buying, I don't know, it comes here and give you a flag here. And you take that flag to the top there, that's okay. Because then you can watch it to come back. You can get out of that trade here, look for a sell setup back to this level, and then look for this buyout. Right? What's the big picture? That's a trade of the day. What's the big picture? Big picture could be upside. If this is all I have for this, I don't know this is all, but this is all I have. And the last flat I see is this one. There's a running flat here as well. So there's some smaller flats here. I don't know what that is. So you're kind of coming down and this is the low. So yep, this comes here, come here, that's an upside. How big? We'll see. It could be the turning point because you do have a lot of divergence in here. I'm absolutely sure about that. Yes, you can see the divergence in here. So this could be big time upside. Depending if it was more here, you'll have to let me know that and then I'll choose. You guys will have to tell me about that. Like I said, I really don't know much about these things. I don't read a lot about them, right? Literally, I'm ignorant of all these things, except that I look at the patterns. If you want to know how ignorant I'm of them, watch today's video. I spoke about Bitcoin, right? And today's the first part of this video, the Forex part. So I'm only looking for patterns and they work. They work pretty good. This one is a little catchy. I'll tell you why, because we have this sharp move up, which could literally have ended the correction, right? We could make an argument that if you look at this, and if you look at this, that's it. That's one, right? This is, I don't know, 2 down to here, and then that's 3 up there. And this should come down here, right? But it's possible that it's much bigger than that because this is a sharp move down here with a lot of correction here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this goes back up there, make a bigger flat, and then come back here, right? In that case, this becomes the biggest flat. So you would definitely have to go back up, right? Because this is going to be like 1, 2, 3. This could be a sharp part of the correction. This could be 1, 2, 3 here. I think this is the low. So all of this would be 1, 2, 3, very slow back up there, and then come back down for the bigger one. So there is some more downside in this, except that structurally it's not ready for the downside as yet. Because of this piece. Because of this piece here, I don't structurally think this thing is ready for the downside. I think it should come back here and then go down. We don't have a buy setup or a sell setup as yet in it, right? If you look at it, we don't have a buy setup or sell. We still have the sharp wave. So if you get a buy setup here, if this pulls back here and give you a buy setup like this, we would watch this move up here and decide if we get a drop, if it's going to drop or not. But this would become a buy setup if it pulls back first. It has to pull back first, and then that becomes a buy setup. You can see it on the 1 hour. Right. So on the 1 hour, what I would look for is a pullback in this. Sorry, wrong one. Yeah. I wait for this to pull back. I mean, pull back pretty deep like this. You get something like that, and then look for the buy setup. Right, it's moving really slow, so you have to be careful, right? You can see the slow, how slow this thing is moving. Each one of those hour candles are pulling back into the other one. Okay, this looks like a good buy setup right now as it stands. You can look at this, and if we assume that this is a running flat, then an entry order above the top here is not a bad idea. This is how I would have traded. I put an entry order above the top, put a stop here, and I'll be ready to go for this one. What is the big picture? I haven't seen this one before. We don't have any lines in it. It means I haven't analyzed it. Big picture is just coming back to this top. Literally coming back to this top here. Because we will look at this two ways. This is the flat. This is the low, and we are going up, right? Or we're making a bigger flat, which means come back to this top, right? Come back to this top here, and then go down. Right, so the question is this a bigger expanding flat in the making, or is this the low and we are trying to go up? We have to look at the bigger picture for that. So let's go to the daily. Yeah, we could be going up. We could literally be going up now if you look at it this way. Could this be the low and we're going up? Possible. Could it come lower? Can it come lower to this level? This one has a correction in here. Can this come lower? Go to this level here now, and then drop here, and then go back up. Also possible. See? So the first trade is to the upside. Go back to the 1 hour. The first trade is to the upside, but you will trade it only to this level. Right? I don't see the sell setup in that as yet. There is no sell setup there. Right? If we're correct about this flat, if we're right about this thing being a running flat, then it should go back to the top. Right? You could put this here. And it should go back to the top, and then we're going to watch the top here at this level, assuming that we're still in some kind of a big expanding flat, right? We could go with that argument. So if it goes, what if this drop a little more here? Then what you want is to break the low and consolidate, right? You always want to break the low of the previous one, and then you can start selling these consolidations, confirming the downside. This will sell and will sell and will sell to more downside. Come back to a lower point. What is the size of the first impulse? Let's go back to the daily. Take the first impulse. Let's go with the first impulse as being equal to this. We're going to assume that they will be equal. They don't have to be. And since I'll be following them the whole week, we will see which trade comes first. Yep, perfect, right? So the line is exactly the right place. If this is going to come down, it could come down to this level. Because we do have this consolidation here, right? To see this one, we do have that consolidation there. And that, by the way, was a contracting flat because the first move was up. Kind of make 1, 2, 3, come back here, go back there. That's a big contracting flat. You can go with it. I don't think it's triangle, but you can check to see what is triangle. You had another small one here, and then you drop to this level. We go up, we got a flat here. You got a flat here, right? You go up, they come down pretty nice. I'm not going to take the smaller ones. And this could be a bigger one that comes here and then go. Or this totally take off and we just move this to the low, which is okay. The buy setup is a good one. Right? I think we can go for the buy. There is no sell setup on it as yet. And the last one, dash. Yep, this is going to be a correction. It's coming down, but it's going to be a correction. See, this piece here is coming down like this. It's probably going to go back up. It's not coming down as an impulse, so it might come a little more, but then you're looking for a move up, after which we should come down. Right? Is that going to be all the end of the correction for downside? Yeah, we could probably make an argument for that. You could go with 1, 1, 2, 3 for a flat here, and then 1, 2, 3 for a flat here. Go back, there is this one, and then come down. Do we have a buy setup? No, we don't, not as yet. Right? There was a sell setup, but it's not going anywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually do this and come back down here for a flat. So you might get a buy here and then a sharp move there, come back here and then go. That would make sense as well. We're in the correction, right? So you just have to be careful. Just wait, nothing much. So that's it, guys. I will do update on this the entire week. So if you watch it to the end, please share it. Make sure more people get access to it. It's a week of free webinar with no obligation. So why not watch it? It might help you. You might learn something. It's okay. Thank you. I would close, for my traders, I would close the room because we need them to process. You guys can come right back in. I can, now it's 51. Give me 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and I'll come back and we will go into the London Open. There are some trade setups we took on the Forex trade this morning, some entries we put on. We'll relook at them. We'll see whether the entries are still valid. I think the Pong entry is now valid for the sell. All right, so let me close everything and then I'll come back in the room. See you guys in the room in 5 minutes.